Hi and welcome to Ida and her books. I'm Ida and these are my books. Today I will be doing the I am a guilty reader book tag. I have not been tagged by anyone, I just really wanted to do this one. I actually had a different video planned for today, but when I sat down to film I realized that I wanted to be better prepared and better researched for that, so that will be coming later, I hope. But that means I'll be doing a tag instead. This tag is created by Is That Cami. First question, have you ever re-gifted a book that you have been given? And I might have, because I've been given a lot of books when I was younger, and during some of my most recent unhauls, when I decided to get rid of some books. I have given away some books to, well, a friend who works at a school, among others. I gave her all my children's books. And I'm sure some of them have been gifts, but I haven't, it's never been on purpose that I've given away a book that I've been given before. Next question is, have you ever said that you read a book that you haven't read? And I have. So when I was in 8th or 9th grade, I don't exactly remember, I had to read a book for school. And I decided to read this one, Und Winter, which we bought at a book fair, whatever it's called. And I decided to read that for school. I thought that would be great. I get to read it. I have a reason to read it, or something like that. Just the thing is that when I'm forced to read through school, I just don't read. So I carried this book around in my bag for like a year, and well, I had to write a book report on it, and I did, pretended like I had read it, went through it and picked out quotes to have in my book report. And then I don't remember how we got into it, but I had told also my sister that I read it, which I hadn't, and so she just didn't believe me. So she said she was gonna read the entire book and then question me about the ending. It never happened though. But by now I have read it. I read the first and the second book in the series, so now I'm not lying anymore. Third question is, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? And this I have also no recollection of doing, apart from like the books I'm currently borrowing from people, but I've only had those for most of them just a couple of weeks. I have one I borrowed from my mom like a year and a half ago, but it's like separate from the rest of my books, so I know where it is. Apart from that, I really don't think so. I rarely borrow books from other people. And if I do, I put them like in a separate pile, and then I don't read them and then return them. So no, I have not done that. Next question, have you ever read a series out of order? And yes, I have. Because when I listen to audiobooks, I use Storytel. Then if you just click on a random book, it doesn't say like anywhere in the title if it's a first or second or third in the series. So it has happened twice that I have listened to the second book in the series. The first time it was a steampunk book, a steampunk series where the books were standalones, but taking place in the same world, if I remember correctly. And so when I went to see if there were other books in that series, I saw that there was a first book in that series. So now I have to listen to that one. The second time it happened, it was also on Storytel, and that time it was a vampire series with like 18 books, and so I just looked it up online, and it turns out that Storytel had taken the original series as well as all companion novels and novellas and just put them all in chronological order in their list. So the book I listened to, which was number 2 on their list, was still the first book to be released. But since then the author had written like a prequel that was just like 2 hours long, and so it's it wasn't really that I missed the first book, it's just that according to Storytel you weren't supposed to listen to them in that specific order. But it would have been weird to listen to the prequel first, I think, because it was about the love interest, and yeah, it was just weird to start with a 2-hour story about him and then jump into a story completely from in the perspective of someone else, meeting him for the first time, because that means me as the reader did not get to meet him for the first time together with the main character. So I'm glad I did listen to them in the order I did, but according to them it was wrong. This one is also a sequel, but they're also standalones as far as I've understood, and that is often the case with crime and mystery novels, especially crime when it's about detectives and stuff. There's some kind of relationship drama probably going through all of the books, but the actual story, like the case, is usually like only in that book, and so that maybe doesn't count as much. Now that I'm starting to look at my bookshelves, I have a lot of books I read out of order. I also read this one, Ondskans tecken, before, well, I still haven't read the first one. I just found it on Storytel, so I'm gonna listen to it. But I don't know, I've had this one for ages, and I read it when I was quite young. And it also like sort of worked on its own, but it was obvious I had missed some stuff before. And then I just never found the first book, or I never tried to find the first book, so now I just have this one. Next question is, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? And yes, kind of, sort of. Never on purpose, and well, I'm not that bothered with spoilers if it's not something that I really want to read, but I did accidentally almost sort of spoil this last Harry Potter book for a friend, because I binge read it when it came out and there was talked about it, and for some reason I asked if she had read it and I thought she said yes, and so I said something alluding to someone dying. I didn't say this person died, but I alluded to something bad happening to that person, and she was like, no, I haven't read it! And so I just stopped there. Next question, have you ever doggy-eared a book? Yes, all the time when I was younger. And then when I started collecting books like for real, I stopped. Library books I did for a longer period, but that was because they were usually already dog-eared. But now I don't. I instead have thousands of bookmarks lying around everywhere, so I have no reason to. Next question. Have you ever told someone that you don't own a book that you do? Not on purpose. But I also don't always know what I have on my shelves. Because I have had some books for so long, I don't remember which ones I've gotten rid of, which ones I kept, and so on. I might think I've gotten rid of something, and then I find it, I'm like, oh, I haven't. It's right there. But otherwise, no, I haven't. Have you ever told someone that you haven't read a book when you actually have? Also not on purpose, but sometimes I forget. Next question, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? Yes. Not usually when I read for my own enjoyment, because yeah, I just don't. When I read the Hunchback of Notre Dame in high school, I did it like on my own. It wasn't an assignment or anything, but I decided I wanted to read the original, because that was the time when you start hearing like, oh, Snow White is so much darker in real life, oh, the Hunchback is so much darker in real life, oh, all these Disney movies are so much darker in real life, or like in original. And so I decided I wanted to read the original, because I am of the mindset that I can't have an opinion on something unless I have actually read the book, or if I've actually done my own research. And so I did read it, and there was like some parts, there was like 2 complete pages just describing a place, like a plaza, because the book, if I remember correctly, the book was written in the 1400s and it takes place in the 1100s, so it was describing the plaza, how it was different now from then, or the other way around. Just 2 complete pages describing this thing. And I was so sick of it. So when I got to similar chapters, when there were parts about Frollo's brother, I was just, I ain't got time for this. I don't care. And so I just skipped it. It was a very long and tedious book. So I don't regret it, and I would never read it again. But now I can at least say I've read it. Last question. Have you ever badmouthed a book that you actually liked? I don't think I have, actually. I am quite open with what I like and don't like in books and such, so I haven't. Not in a everyone else is talking shit about it, so I agree sort of way. I have, however, said I really like this book, but I can see its problems. I can see how it's problematic. I can see bad parts about a book I like, but I haven't like trash talked the book just because no one else likes the book. That was all the questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanna tag everyone who commented on my previous tag, the BookTube newbie tag, to do this tag as well. I think that would be fun. Please leave a comment down below, maybe hit subscribe, follow me on Instagram, maybe. And I will see you next week. Bye.